Hello everyone, this is Don with MecSoft Support. I wanted to take a few minutes to give you a brief quick start video on the new feature machining capability in VisualCAM 2017 for SOLIDWORKS. What I've got here is SOLIDWORKS 2017 loaded, but however we support SOLIDWORKS 2010 all the way up through 2017, so either one of those will be fine. Let's go ahead and open our part. We'll go to the File and Open menu, and we'll go to the VisualCAM 2017 for SOLIDWORKS Quick Start folder shown here, and we'll select the part called Feature Machining Quick Start. And here's a preview of it here. So let's open that part. Now what we have here is a part that has a number of different features on it. We'll just go over them briefly here. We've got a blind pocket here and an open blind pocket here, and we have a series of slot features here. We have a solid boss protrusion here. And then on the back side, we have a 3-axis open pocket, 3-axis because it has a drafted sidewall and a fillet at the base, so we need 3-axis operations to machine that. And then in the back, we have a large hole in the middle and a hole pattern around it. And you can see that the slot, 2 of the slots in the holes go all the way through the part. Now, the only thing that's required to do feature detection and machining in VisualCAM is that the part is a solid. Obviously in SOLIDWORKS you'll be creating solid parts or solid models, but you will require a solid. If you input a part, it will need to be a closed volume, either a poly surface or a solid model. Now go over a little bit about the interface here. In SOLIDWORKS 2017 we have both VisualCAM 2016 and VisualCAM 2017 loaded. If you've recently installed 2017, just make sure that you have the VisualCAM 2017 tab enabled, and we have the milling browser button checked. So on the left we have the machining browser at the top and machining objects browser at the bottom. Now we've done it to save time. We've done a little bit of preliminary work on this part already, and I'll tell you what we've done, and you can visit. I recommend that you visit other quick start guides and videos that goes over the basics of setting up a part in the stock for machining. What we have is we have a 3-axis machine defined. We have our post defined. We have a box stock already defined. And we have a setup defined in the middle here, and then we have a work 0 defined as well. So let's go ahead and show you how easy it is to machine this part using feature detection machining in VisualCAM 2017. So we're going to start by going down to the machining objects browser at the bottom, selecting the features tab, and features are detected from a planar surface on your part. So let's go ahead and pick the Create Machining Features button, and it's asking you to select a flat area to detect machining features. We're going to go ahead and select the top face of the part, pick the check mark, and VisualCAM analyzes the part and lists all the features. Let me expand this a little bit. It lists all the features that it detected from that planar face, and we'll go over them real quick here. We have the initial orientation. This is the machining orientation that the face is oriented with. And then we have the planar face, of course. We have a 3-axis pocket feature in the back. We have our 2 prismatic pockets. We have our open prismatic pocket, and then our closed prismatic pocket here, and then we have our 3 slot features. This one is angled, it goes all the way through the part. This one here is a blind slot only goes a little ways down into the part. And then we have a third slot which goes all the way through the part. Now we also have our boss that protrudes above the face. We scroll down here, we'll see that we have two sets of hole features. We have our multiple hole feature here around the larger hole, and then we also have our larger through hole feature. So let's go ahead and show you how easy it is to machine this entire part using features only. So let's go ahead and minimize these so we can get this a little bit lower here and work with it. So let's go ahead and start with our planar face. Now all you have to do in VisualCAM 2017 is detect the features and then select each feature and perform an operation on that feature. So we have the planar face feature detected. We'll right click on it and it lists the operations that you can perform on that feature. What we're going to do is we're going to do a facing operation, a 2-axis facing operation. Now one thing I also want to mention is that I'm using default settings for these operations. So if you have default settings that you've already defined for each operation type, those settings will be loaded automatically when you create the operation. So we're going to go ahead and do a 2-axis facing operation. Here's our planar face feature listed. Now we also have a set of tools that are already defined and loaded with this part, so you won't have to create any tools. If you want to learn how to create, that's done in our other quick start videos. So for this operation, we're going to use our 1/2-inch flat mill. For the feeds and speeds, we'll load those from the tool. For the clearance plane, we'll use automatic, and cut transfer method be clearance plane. These will be standard for all of our operations. For our roughing, we're going to go ahead and have 0 stock. So we're going to not leave any stock on the part after we do our facing operation. We're going to do an island offset cuts around this protrusion, and we're going to have a mixed cut direction. Step over, let's make that 40%. And for cut levels, for feature machining, your cut levels tab will populate with your depth information already determined from the feature. So it tells you that your minimum depth is 0. That means that the face rests on our 0 plane. So we need to go down at least to 0 to get this face cleared out. And we'll have a roughing depth of 1/4 inch. That's how much material is we have on our stock material to remove. For all these other parameters, we'll change this for the arc fitting, and then we'll pick generate. So here's our facing operation. Let's go ahead and work our way down, and we'll go ahead and do our 3-axis pocketing operation. Right click, and first we'll do a horizontal roughing operation. Here's our pocket feature in the back. For roughing, we'll go ahead and use our 1/4 inch flat mill. Cut parameters, this is fine for roughing. The tolerances for the offset pattern, we'll use an offset cut pattern. And for a mixed cut direction, we'll start in the inside. Step over, we'll use 40%. That's fine. We don't really need a cleanup pass for roughing. So we'll go ahead for cut levels. We'll do a 50% step down, and everything else looks good. Let's go ahead and generate this. So here is our roughing operation for the pocket in the back. Now let's go ahead and right click on the feature and create a finishing operation. Here's the feature. For finishing, we'll use our 1/4 inch ball mill. For the cut parameters, we're going to leave stock of 0. We're going to cut right down to the surface feature. And for a step over, we got it set at 10%. That's a pretty good fine step over for finishing. Everything else is okay. Let's go ahead and generate that. There's our nice finishing operation, 3-axis finishing on that pocket in the back. Let's keep going down here. Now we'll go to our prismatic pockets. Now for the pockets, we have one that's open and one that's closed. Open meaning that it protrudes through the sides of the part. Those require two separate operations. So we're going to do a facing on this one and a pocketing on this one. So let's go ahead and we'll select the open pocket here, right click, and we'll do a facing operation. And then for the tool, we can go ahead and use our flat mill since we got a large radius in the back. Or feeds and speeds, roughing, we're going to leave 0 stock. And for the step over, 25% is fine. Cut levels, you got to go down at least 1/4 of an inch, and that's what we'll take out. So we'll have one level at 1/4 of an inch. Let's go ahead and generate that. There's our facing operation to clear that pocket out. We'll go to our second blind pocket, right click, and then we'll select pocketing. There's our pocket feature. For the tool, for this one, we got some fillets on the edges, so let's use a smaller 3/8" flat mill. And for cut parameters, we'll set stock to 0. We're going to finish it right to the side walls of the pocket. And we'll have a 40% step over, that's fine. And for the cut pattern, let's do high-speed machining for the pocketing cut pattern, and then we'll show you the pattern after it gets created here. For cut levels, again, you got to go down a minimum of 1/2 inch, and we're going to use 2 levels of 1/4 inch. So we'll have 2 cut levels on this part. So everything else looks good. Let's generate that. So here's our pocketing operation, and we'll show you those two levels. And we're going to simulate these here at the end, so you'll see this cut pattern here simulated. So let's move on. As you can see, it's really easy to machine operations directly from features. Let's go on and move on down to our slots. Now we've got 3 slots, and they're all the same width, so we can machine these all at the same time. We'll just right click on our slot feature group, pick slotting. Our 3 features are selected. This is a 1/2 inch wide slot, so we'll go ahead and select our 1/2 inch end mill. For the slot parameters, we're going to leave 0 stock, and we'll use a climb cut direction. 25% step over is fine. For the minimum depth, you see that you have to go down at least 1/4 inch to get to this first feature. So that's at 1/4 inch, and then we're going to go down 1/4 inch at each level. This isn't how deep the entire cut's going to be. This is just your minimum depth. So it's going to cut all 3 pockets at once. So let's go ahead and generate that. So you see our toolpath for each of the pockets created. We'll move on down to our boss, and we'll go ahead and do a profiling operation for that. There's our boss feature. For the tool, we can go ahead and use our 1/2 inch flat mill for that. For the cut parameters, set the stock to 0. We're going to finish it right to the side walls of the boss. And that's pretty much all we need for that. It's just going to be 1 level at 1/4 inch. And let's go ahead and generate that. So there's our profiling operation to clean up that boss. Now for the holes, we've got 2 sets of hole features. For the multi-hole pattern, we're going to use a drilling operation, and for the larger hole, we'll use a hole pocketing operation. Let's go ahead and do the hole pocketing first. Right click on the feature, select hole pocketing. It gives you a profile, a cross-section profile of your hole pocket, and it gives you the depths. It goes down to 3/4 of an inch. That's the width of our stock. And for the tool, we're going to use our 1/2 inch flat mill. Everything else should be okay. We're going to use our pocket depth is 3/4 of an inch. Everything else looks good. Let's generate that. And here is our pocketing, spiral pocketing, hole pocketing operation for the larger hole. Now let's go ahead and do the hole drilling hole pattern. Right click on the feature, and we'll select drill. There's a cross section of our hole, and it tells you the hole diameter and the hole depth. And for the tool, we'll go ahead and use our 1/4-inch drill that we have already defined. For the cut parameters, we're going down 3/4 of an inch, so we're going to use a deep drill, and we're going to use a step increment of 1/8 of an inch. So it's going to peck down 1/8 of an inch to clear those holes out. So, and also for sorting, since we have multiple holes, we'll go ahead and do a directional sort. So it'll go in one direction and do all the drilling, all the holes. Let's generate that. There's our drilling operation. So as you can see, we've got this entire part programmed in just a matter of minutes directly from all the features on the part. So let's go ahead and simulate these, and then we'll go ahead, we'll just do them one at a time so you can see each of the simulations. We'll go to the Simulate tab. For preferences, we'll check those. We'll set it to polygonal. We'll set the accuracy to fine. Everything else looks good. We'll show the tool holder. Pick OK there. Here's our facing operation toolpath, and let's go ahead and pick play. That's pretty fast. Let's slow that down a little bit and run that again. And you can turn the toolpath on and off. So there's our facing operation. And let's go for our 3-axis pocket in the back. We got a roughing operation. Let's go ahead and do that. So we got a nice roughing up 3-axis roughing operation on that pocket in the back. So let's do our finishing, 3-axis finishing. So as you can see, you can do all 2-axis and all 3-axis operations directly from features that you have detected in the part. Let's go ahead and do our 2.5-axis facing for our front through pocket here. There's our facing operation. We'll do our blind pocket here. This is shows you our high-speed cut pattern. Let's go ahead and show the toolpath on that. High-speed cut pattern has tangential loops in the pattern, so you can run this at a higher beat rate. Let's go ahead and run that again. There's our blind pocket in the front. We'll go on down to our slots, run those. As you can see, it did both through slots and the blind slot at the same time. Let's go ahead and do our profiling operation for our boss. Clean that up. Do our hole pocketing. Let's go ahead and slow that down a little bit so you can see the nice helical movements there in the hole pocketing. There's the hole pocketing, and now we'll do our drilling operation. That's how easy it is to machine using features in VisualCAM 2017 for SOLIDWORKS. This part is basically ready. It's done. We've programmed the operations. We've simulated them. Now we can go ahead and get some information about the operations. We'll go ahead and select the setup and get our information list about each of our operations, the estimated machining time. It'll take about 46 minutes to machine this part on a Haas 3-axis controller. Also, we can go ahead and generate our setup sheet. Let's go ahead and do that. Zoom in just a little bit. We'll right-click on the setup, pick Shop Documentation. For this, we'll go ahead and use Template 2 and generate our setup sheet. As you can see, it's cycling through each of the operations, and our setup sheet will display here in just a moment. So here's our HTML-based setup sheet. It shows a picture of your part, your stock dimensions, your general information here at the top, has your list of tools that are required. You can print this out or have it on your network, your Ethernet at your company, and have this available directly at your machining center. And here's each of the operations. We have our work 0 set up. We have our facing, 3-axis roughing, 3-axis finishing. Here's our facing for the pocket. Here's our pocketing operation, our 3 slots, profiling for the boss, hole profiling for the larger hole, and then our drilling for the multiple hole pocket pattern in the back. Let's go ahead and we can go ahead and post this. Right click on the setup. We'll go ahead and post the entire setup. And here is our Gcode file for all of the operations. It's ready to send to the machine and cut the part. As you can see, a large step forward in VisualCAM 2017, machining directly from features. It's going to save you a lot of time. If you need any more information about the product, you can visit us online at www.MecSoft.com for information and also for additional videos. Thank you.